So there's that. So definitely lock it down, keep it secret. There are definitely people that can do that, but now they have to start selling because they know that the sale is going to bring them in income to hire some of the resources and service providers they need. Then you have to watch the clock for sure. You have to understand the risks of that, which we talked about, which is maybe somebody seeing it and kind of stealing it from you and taking the chance you didn't file a patent and filing it first. And yes, that's not a situation the law protects, but that's the risk you're willing to take because you'll be able to hopefully prove it later. But as a company, as mom and pop, you need to really kind of watch your sales. So if you knew you sold on January 26, 2020, know that you have until January 26, 2021 to protect yourself. There are legal advocacy groups in the world of intellectual property. They're usually kind of pro bono programs. Every state in the union has them. You have to meet an income threshold, and you have to be like a little bit above poverty. I think it's maybe twice poverty. So if poverty level of income is like $18,000 a year or something like that, you have to make less than like $36,000 a year. Some states require you make less than $50,000 a year as an individual, right? Because if you're a mom and pop, that's what it's going to be based on. So there are programs out there that could potentially help you with pro bono services. And there are also service providers who are kind of in it for other reasons than making money. So maybe can work with you to like payment plans and deferred fees and fixed fees. There's all sorts of interesting providers out there. There are also interesting providers that have networks to investors. So kind of getting out and going to conferences and kind of engaging the community, the advocacy community, the regulatory community. That doesn't cost any money to kind of volunteer your services, might connect you to someone that may know an investor who's more like an angel or pre-seed or somebody that can kind of come in a little bit earlier than like a VC or something like that could help you on your way. So there definitely people do it. I've seen it. Definitely people do it. But I think we're definitely I think we are approaching the rapture soon in this industry for sure. I do believe that the cream will probably rise to the top, and by that I mean if you can somehow figure out some of the obstacles that you just mentioned, Snowden, and try to formalize your business and maybe have a little investment, maybe have some sort of intellectual property or the ability to file intellectual property within the prescribed timelines. That if you can achieve those things, I do believe that this industry will see the emergence of those types of companies or mom and pops that have kind of gotten their act together. That will be the cream that rises to the top, and all the fly-by-nights, because there are a lot of fly-by-nights with every emerging technology. There's people in it just to get in and out, in and out, in and out. They don't even care about anything else, right? They just want to make money now and out, which God bless them. Everybody should do that to some extent. But there are people who want to endure and who want to change and who want to be part of legislation change and lobbying and advocacy, and they're doing it for the right reason and always want that to be in their DNA all the time. Great. Those people should also somehow try to create this environment or this company culture that meets all of the requirements that we were just talking about, requirements that meets all the kind of desires we're talking about, because they will be the cream that rises to the top. I believe that I kind of think that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah, no, really good advice. And if you mentioned something about the NDAs, which I really hadn't considered. I mean, there are people who are like, what, you don't trust me? You want me to sign in it? What? And there's really a legal reason to always have an NDA, and it has more to do with their protected rights from a legal standpoint than it does the trust of the individual that they're speaking with. That's very interesting.
Yes, I say it all the time. I say, if somebody says that to you, if you're about to give an NDA to someone, even if it's an investor, a VC, they're notorious. Like, my friend, we are doing this not because we don't trust you. We're doing this to safeguard the ability to file for a patent in the future. that they'll respect, that they'll understand, right? Because they're going to be investing, hopefully, in a company that has some sort of intellectual property. And nothing to do with, it has everything to do with trust, but it has to do also with this requirement that the United States has. Yes. So yes, very well said. Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, there are just so many nuances in the law that people just don't pay attention to until they're faced with a lawsuit or until they have to file a lawsuit against someone. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. So, well, this is all really good information. And, before we start winding down, are there any other points of interest that you think that our audience might like to know or might need to know really in this regard?
Yeah, I would say I think there's this tendency in this field. It's not really a criticism. Again, it happens in most fields where the majority of companies believe that what they truly have might be really, really, really novel, or might not be something that they even think is worth protecting. Like there's always that, oh, it's so obvious. Like, I'm not going to protect it because like it's so obvious. Like somebody can just figure it out. But I'm a big believer in like at least consult. Doesn't cost money to consult with an attorney or somebody. Well, you should definitely find people that don't charge you for consultation. We'll put it that way. But there are people like that, including myself, right? They at least talk to someone and kind of delve into a little bit, because that what you think has already been protected, or that which you think is so obvious that how can somebody protect that, or that which you think is so kind of run of the mill that there's no way you're going to get protection on it. Like 9 times out of 10, that's wrong. I mean, I've seen it all the time, not just in cannabis. The most obvious, the most ideas that the entrepreneur or the company believes is the most obvious turns out to be something that hasn't already been filed with the patent office. And so you can be the first to do that. And so we are in an exciting field. Yes, a lot of companies are filing. It's happening all over the world, but there's still a lot of great avenues to explore in the world of intellectual property. And don't make that decision on your own. Definitely consult with someone, hopefully a patent or trademark attorney, and let them give you that clearance. You don't have to file anything, but at least let them give you the clearance that you could file, that what you have hasn't been filed, that what you thought was obvious is truly unique and novel and has not been filed before.
Very good advice. And and I mean, would speaking to an attorney about an emerging technology count as your start time for the year, or is that protected under like client privilege?
Yeah, excellent question. There are very few people in this world that don't require NDAs. Attorney-client privilege, doctors, doctor-patient, psychiatrists, rabbis, priests, and your spouse, right? Marital privilege. Anybody outside of those people need an NDA, even your child, even your grandmother, right? There's no grandmother son, there's no grandmother grandson privilege, there's no father daughter privilege,
right?
But yes, there is attorney-client privilege, whether you become a client of that person or not, and it doesn't require an NDA and is not considered a public disclosure, and thus the year doesn't start.
Good. Yeah, that's good to know. So I'll definitely put your information up so that people can find you. This is really good information and should be of interest to a lot of the people who are breaking out with these amazing technologies, from formulas to cultivar strains and and delivery devices and everything else. So yeah, it's very interesting. But well, I have to say thank you so much for sharing all of this information. It's really been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me, and look forward to meeting you soon.
You are welcome, and I look forward to meeting you as well. Oh, so it is time for us to bring yet another show to a close. Once again, I'd like to personally thank my guest, David Postolski, for sharing his insights and knowledge with us today. If you'd like to learn more about the work he's doing, please visit us online at thecannabisreporter.com. Click podcast to find today's episode, and there you will find his bio along with information about his talk at the CBD Expo and a link to his website. We have so many people to thank. First, I'd like to express our gratitude for our partners and radio sponsors, Canosphere Biotech, the Growers Network, and Blue Mountain Energy. We certainly couldn't be doing this without you. I'd also like to thank our theme song composer Eric Goodall and our production team here at the Cannabis Reporter radio show for always making us shine. And of course, it goes without saying just how much we appreciate our programming directors at XRQK Radio Network and Society Bites Radio for distributing our show. And last but not least, thanks to all of you for listening. I'm Snowden Bishop, inviting you to join me again next week, same time, same place, for another episode of the Cannabis Reporter radio show. Until we meet again, be safe, stay informed, share what you've learned, and make it a great day. Evergreen's calling. Evergreen's calling.
Let's face it, indoor agriculture consumes massive amounts of energy. Between cooling high-intensity grow lights and regulating climate in large facilities, electric bills can run a successful grow operation into the red. If this sounds familiar, I can tell you that you need a powerful climate control system that won't drain your green. I'm Eric Riccardi with Blue Mountain Energy. Our state-of-the-art HVAC systems are powered by natural gas and propane, which means you can reduce your electricity use by as much as 80% and get your grow operation back in the black and maximize your growing space. Visit BlueMountainEnergy.com to schedule your free energy assessment and see how Blue Mountain Energy can put that green back in your pocket.